Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is the Board of Directors Council on Aging meeting for December 20th, 2023. May I have a motion to call the meeting to order at 9:35?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Devin Marie. All those in favor? I guess I'm
Aye.
second.
Aye.
Thank you. Larry is going to read the Council on Aging mission statement for us this morning.
The mission of the Council on Aging is to advocate for Groveland's older adults, to identify their needs, to develop and implement services to meet their health, economic, social, and cultural needs, to encourage maximum independence, and to improve their quality of life.
Thank you. Minutes of the November 15th, 2023 meeting. May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Treasurer's report. Anything to be reported?
So the finances are included in the director's report. I think no big changes. Happy to say that we received half of the formula grant funding since we've last met. The other half, will come in the new year. When the finance committee and I met prior to last meeting, there was a question asked about the total number being received, as it's the number of older adults differs from the previous year's older adults. And so I had asked the executive office of Elder Affairs why that was, and they essentially said that they were relying on, for FY23, they had numbers were estimated, and then these numbers are correct, and they were hoping with the $12 to $14 increase, it would help mitigate the loss, but this will be the number that we are with for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the actual number of older adults?
I can look it up. I don't have it. It was around, no, actually, I don't have it, but
Okay.
I can easily get it
But it
for
is
you.
14, so the $14 did not change. It's the fact that the census actually showed we had less older adults than.
Yeah,
estimated.
so before, last year's formula grant was $12, and so that, it did increase from $12 to $14 per in older adult, but it's the number of older adults. Yeah,
Because they estimated.
yeah.
Okay.
And if you want those numbers, Deb,
I can back into them. I can look at the formula grant amount and divide it by 14 and figure it out. That's okay.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, that's the only big change to the finances with receiving those funds. Not too many expenses last time around in November. So happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions on the treasurer's report, finance report? All right, then we can please move into the director's report.
Right. So the big highlights, of course, is that we are fully staffed. We are welcoming Frank back as our van driver after his leave of absence. He returned on December 5th. And at that same day, we welcomed our new outreach and food pantry manager, Carrie Scott. So now we have a team of 5, which is great, and just have really seen the ability to serve our community that much more, knowing that we have a full 4-day week for van rides and able to respond to outreach services on a much regular and consistent basis. So, yeah, it's wonderful.
That's
Yay.
very good. Yes.
And then, we sort of separate from the budget, I did have a couple of financial highlights. I know I mentioned it via an email, but we were awarded 3 grants since our last meeting, and these are through the Service Initiative Grant, sometimes known as SIG. So we got a marketing and outreach grant, outreach meaning going into the community to share about what we do, not outreaches in the office. So that's for $10,000. We have a Memory Cafe startup pilot program for $615, and we'll be getting a stand-up freezer for $3,500, hopefully with glass doors as well. So those are very exciting things. Those are reimbursable grants, so we will submit our expenses, and then they will reimburse us accordingly. I know the budget is on topic for more detailed conversation. The FY25 budget for the town, I'm happy to go through that now, or we can take a pause and go through the rest of the report.
Doesn't
We
matter.
go through the rest and then focus
Okay.
on budget?
Sounds good. So senior tax work-off dates, as some of you, well, probably all of you know, that we had 10 spots available to us this past year for the town program to work off up to $1,000 in the property tax. In the calendar year of 2023, we had 6 individuals participate in the program with about 415 hours of service, which is fantastic. I really do see it as a win-win for the individual, for our community as a whole, and for the departments that they're helping. And that is equivalent to just over $6,000 in labor for the town. So wonderful. We do have 10 spots available for the 2024 year. I have been reaching out to department heads in the town to see who is interested and willing to benefit from this work-off program. I'm still very much needing and would welcome department heads to reach out to me and tell me what they need and would like to be done in this partnership. So we definitely have spots within the COA, as well, but, would love to spread the wealth of this knowledge and expertise throughout the town. So those applications are open. You really can start anytime, but certainly the sooner we get started, the more time you have to complete those hours. It is at $15 an hour minimum wage, and you can work up to $1,000 worth of work, which is about 66.6 hours. But if you were happy with a couple $100 off, you could just work, a lesser number of hours. So, any questions on the tax work-off?
In case there are folks at home who wonder what kind of work
Yes.
they might be engaged in.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really do, I would really like to try to match their skill set with the need and across the town, but a lot of it tends to be administrative work, things from filing to photocopying to stuffing envelopes, but there's also, we've had people at VC Park that are doing painting and small, cleanup jobs, around outside and that kind of thing. So I think there's a wide variety of tasks available, and certainly all parties, the tax work-off individual and potential supervisor would have a chance to meet to make sure it really is something that everyone is open and willing to do before being committed to working for the year.
I also have observed a few volunteers at the library doing work with the books and
Yeah, so
helping the
across
children's
town
library.
departments, so that absolutely includes library, the conservation, the clerk's office, the treasurer's office, everyone is open, so, yeah. Good. Nisha wrote the assistant director's report for this. We included in this report. She gave a few shout outs, including to our number one volunteer, Pat Smith, who logged 111 hours this past year. And I think she might have started in March, so. So really, really do appreciate her and all of our volunteers who help make our service possible for the community. She also highlights that, our November and December luncheons have, continued to be well attended, and we had wait lists on them. And as you all have seen, we just put out our newsletter for January, February, and ready to take those registrations and RSVPs too. For events to look forward to, just to note that we do have a mindfulness meditation class taking place tomorrow. There still is room. It's happening at 10 a.m. We do ask that people let us know that they're coming so we can set up the room accordingly, but tomorrow, 10
I
a.m.
think it's 11 a.m.
That
tomorrow.
sounds good. January 4th at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, December 21st, 11 a.m., January 4th at 10. Other new classes, coming up in the new year is Cooking for One or Two, as well as a tech question and answer with Matt from over at the library. We also have a drum circle taking place on Saturday, January 13th, and that is just a brief highlight of a few
Will that be
classes.
here, the drum circle?
Yes, it
Oh.
will be here in
Wow.
this room.
Can you tell us more about that?
So it is with Mitch Pasha Cohen, who is out of Arlington, but he has worked with a number of older adult groups, formal groups, as well as sort of impromptu casual groups. He's most recently worked with the Beverly Council on Aging and doing a drum circle there. I think, not only does the drum circle provide that social aspect and breaking people out of isolation, it also is just really great for cognitive development, as well as working our hands and fingers and for arthritis and so forth. So it's a lot of fun. They are African hand drums, so typically they'll sit on the ground, you put them between your legs, and you drum. It's for all levels. If anyone happens to have their own drum, you're more than welcome to bring it. Otherwise, there will be drums provided.
That'll be a lively day.
And I do have a general question.
Yeah.
Which might be pertinent to people watching from home. When I've come to, I've usually just brought cash,
Yep,
given my $5 bill.
yep.
Does the Council on Aging have the ability to run like, I'm just thinking with all the people that have either HSAs or Medicare Advantage plans that can be used towards wellness-type activities?
Oh.
Do we have the ability to swipe a card?
No, we don't.
Okay.
This was something that I had really wanted to do. Not necessarily, I hadn't thought about that, but for accepting credit cards, and that is something that I've had conversations with the town with, and we are not
Probably too
able
yeah,
to do.
Too difficult to do that.
There are. I think I had written about it in the past, or definitely sent an email about it. There, our system, My Senior Center, can definitely accept credit cards. We would have to go through a traditional, credit card vendor. Those credit card vendors do require that firewalls are in place and that you have accountabilities in place, and that is something that the town is not currently
Yeah.
set up to do.
Okay, just curious about that. Hmm.
For food insecurity, but I will say a lot of we are trying to make many of our classes, small amounts, if not free, and so the drum
Oh, yeah.
circle is a free class for people, as well as the cooking and tech class. But yeah, it is the regular classes that tend to be a nominal fee for the teachers directly. But yeah. All right. Food insecurity pantry, as we, mentioned, Carrie is on board, quickly learning and doing a really great job connecting with our constituents that use those services. We have just received a wealth of contributions from the community. If you go into the pantry, it is very fully stocked, which is just a wonderful feeling, not only for the staff to be able to be in that room, but even more so for our constituents that come in there and feel that, they have a really rich variety of options to choose from to meet their own specific needs as individuals. So thank you to the community as a whole for keep dropping off contributions. The Pentucket Athletic Association gave us a donation recently as well after their Thanksgiving football game, and certainly the Groveland Congregational Church has been a steadfast support in the pantry. So thank you so much for all of that. I would say that, certainly gift cards do remain, that sought-after option because of as much variety as we do have in the pantry, it doesn't offer everything that one needs. So those are still really appreciated and just provides invaluable support to the people that come in.
So, Alyssa, can any citizen in this community donate Market Basket gift cards?
Absolutely. So yeah, we definitely welcome the gift card donations. Market Basket is the grocery store, as we know, that is close by that people can easily get to, as well as the van driver can drop them off over there. Most gift cards that we receive tend to be between $20 and $25, and again, it really gives them, I think, not only what they need, but also that dignity to be able to go into the store and purchase the items that they wouldn't be able to have otherwise. So.
Now I wonder if we can invite Groveland citizens at this time of year who might be thinking about an older adult in their life or who has passed from their life, if in honor of that person they would like to make a contribution of a gift card to the food pantry.
That would be very, very kind and welcome. November was a big month, no surprise. It's probably the biggest month of the year. It's trends with Thanksgiving, so we gave out over 2,000 pounds in the month of November.
That's incredible.
Certainly it will likely be less in December, just because that's the nature of the holiday schedule. But it was great to see that everyone that uses our services were able, should they chose, to have full bags of food to do a full Thanksgiving dinner. So it was nice.
Mm.
Great. We already talked about housing and staffing updates, so I can move on to the senior center updates. So the first week of January, Barbara, Darcy from the Friends, and also from the library will be meeting with the main agenda point being to brainstorm potential task force members who can join us, with skills and insights. I've also been talking with Linda Brown, and she will connect us to an architect that we hope to meet in January. Really, it's just an informal chat to figure out, this is what we think our needs are. These are the plans that we saw before. Would just sort of have some feedback about that and sort of take it from next steps from there. Yeah. That's that, and then again, just a thank you, as I mentioned, to the Pentucket Athletic Association, to the Groveland Congregational Church, to all the individuals that give us, but also to the Groveland Fire Department. They did a really wonderful presentation on fire safety earlier in this month, and while it was small numbers in attendance, just a wealth of information, and I tried to include that in our January, February newsletter as well. So, yeah, happy to answer any questions if you'd like.
Are there any questions on anything that Alyssa highlighted in her very thorough and wonderful director's report? She covered the food pantry and the senior center task force update. Any comments or questions before we move on? All right, thank you very much, Alyssa. Any other old business to be discussed before we move on to new business?
Yeah, just wanted to let people know that the Friends will not be meeting in January. They are just going to have their February meeting. There is a new treasurer being brought on board. Is that Karen Susie?
Yes.
Karen Susie. We'll welcome her. We're still looking for someone to take over the chairmanship of Friends, so that would be something to get out to the public. We're still looking for help in that area.
Yeah, and I mean, just I'll add on to that that I'm sure anyone that is interested, that people would be more than willing to meet with them, to share with them about the role, about the organization, and sort of the mission to fundraise for the Council on Aging. And as a thank you to Joanna Donnelly, too, who's been serving as the president and done a wonderful job.
All right, thank you. Moving on to new business, the January, February newsletter and spotlight person. The newsletter has just been sent out electronically, and there are copies available, not only in the Council on Aging office, but in several places around town, the library. I believe Ultimate Perk has some. Would you like to speak at all about briefly what's in the newsletter? Or we know the highlight person, spotlight person.
Yeah, Spotlight is Carrie Scott. We share a little bit about what outreach means. We realize that maybe we know what it means internally, but not necessarily in public facing. So that, the role really is to help individuals navigate what resources are out there to best support them to live a full and engaged life as they choose. So this could be from support with heating or housing options. It could be reaching out to make sure that medical needs are met, be that medical equipment or medical insurance. Could also be a friendly phone call to make sure that your family member is doing well and we can check in on them. So it really is a huge range of services that we can help navigate and direct our community members to the right resources. Other than that, like I said, a lot of really wonderful events going on, including, I mentioned a few highlights of sort of the social recreational programming, but we also have a number of educational programs. One of them is called the Dementia Friends. So I believe I had mentioned in the past, I had gone through the Dementia Friends Champion training, meaning that I can then lead the Dementia Friends training. It really is an informal conversation. It is a sort of step-by-step training, but informal in the sense of let's just have shared knowledge of what dementia is and how it impacts the lives of the individual and the lives of those that are friends with, that are family members, or casual people in the store that we might see. And certainly there's no one definition of what dementia is. It is sort of, again, a broad, these are things that one might encounter and how we can best support the caregivers and their care partners and the individual and so forth. So highly, I'm super excited about it. We have two options. There's going to be, I think, a daytime one and also an evening option, and more than happy to go out into the community for other groups that would like to have this as well.
Thank you for offering it at 2 times, because even if somebody doesn't have a family member right now who's been diagnosed with dementia, we never know if this is going to happen in our future or the future of someone we care for. So to be able to get the background information, or just know, make a connection to know, I can go here if I have questions.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I would recommend it really for just about everybody. You know, for townspeople, for the cashiers, because we don't know what we don't know, right? And I believe that we all have the best of intentions, and so when we can treat each other knowledgeably, with compassion and empathy, I think we are all the better for it, so, yeah.
I can speak to the next.
Okay.
So performance evaluation plans is the next item under new business, and I am really proud of the members of this board, because today was the deadline for passing in Alyssa's probationary period assessment, and we have 100% participation. And so the Personnel Subcommittee will be putting the information together so that we can respect Alyssa with her deadlines and give her the input and feedback so that she can set her SMART goals for the future. So thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. Future programs is next. Is there anything to be discussed other than what has already been discussed? It's pretty much.
I'd just like to say, I was very impressed
Yes.
with the newest, I mean, I've been impressed with every newsletter. Each one gets better, I think.
so.
But the number of new programs and the fact that they're being offered, like Irene said, at a variety of times, it's very good.
Thank
We're
you.
moving, we're definitely moving in the forward direction, which is excellent. So thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Absolutely.
And it seems to be a way of improving our visibility and connectedness
Yes.
to more than just older adults.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely,
we're
and
trying.
a lot of the van trips, as well as programs offered, there are a lot of new ones and a lot of ones that are just so popular. I happened to be lucky enough, as did Irene, to go to the Symphony Hall Pops concert on the van trip, and it was full, and I do believe there was a waiting list as well, and it was just magical. Joe did a wonderful job getting us in and out of Boston traffic, and it was a fun time, and I think Alyssa probably used her contacts to get those tickets for us. They were great seats, so we thank you for all the innovative and wonderful programs that are being offered, as Deb said.
And always truly open to ideas for future offerings. So, you know, any and everyone, let us know. Happy to take it into consideration. So.
Yeah. Discussion of monthly meeting focus area for the board, which is budget preparation. Can we talk a little bit about the budget preparation that's already been done and is ongoing? I believe maybe Alyssa's the best one to speak to that.
Yeah, so in the board packet, I sort of did two versions of the similar information, the sort of bullet point summary as well as some text. So the town is currently in the FY25 budget season. So in late November, and I believe this is typical, I outlined the process for the FY25 year, but I think it's my understanding that it's pretty similar year to year. So the town administrator had given the information about priorities and deadlines at the very end of November. With that, the deadline for this year was this past Friday, December 15th, for the board, for the budget submissions. The town uses ClearGov as a platform, an online platform for everybody to enter their information, you know, and we do have a narrative deadline at the end of December 31st, again, just to sort of explain what we're asking for and how it aligns to department goals, aligning to the town-wide goals. in the memo for this year, it was definitely emphasized on maintaining or limiting increases due to, I believe the words were low new growth projections. So with that, all of the salaries were locked, with the cost of living increase certainly not promised, but that's where they are right now. And then we do have a couple of expense budget lines, one a general expense, one for the van expenses. We kept with it. Certainly, we couldn't change the salaries, but then we just did even funding for the expense lines. In regards to the mandatory meetings that each department does meet with the finance board. These are facilitated by Melissa Baker, the current chair of the finance board. Our meeting for this year is scheduled for January 31st at 5 p.m. They're 30-minute blocks. And at that time, we do hope to discuss our budget. Again, salaries were locked, but we do feel strongly that our salaries within the department, if not, at the very least within our department, if not for the town as a whole, need to be equitable and at the rates as highlighted in the Collins compensation study. So we put in a letter to that effect for the board.
Would you like us to attend that January 31st meeting?
So I absolutely requested that the finance committee attend that, and others that are able to join would certainly welcome and appreciate it. And then other dates were the town meeting, April 29th, and then there is a warrant posting 2 weeks prior with that. I just did want to draw the board's attention to that if there are any changes to the bylaws, that, you know, the town administrator would love to have those sooner than later. So,
Did we have a bylaw review as our focus for our January meeting?
January
Or
is
no?
van use, but we
Is
could.
what?
January was scheduled to be van use, but we could
That's
swap
right.
them
That's right.
if we felt.
I wonder if that would be,
Yeah. Did we have a bylaws subcommittee?
Laurel was part of it.
Yeah,
I know Laurel was
Yeah,
part of it.
because I thought they were gonna, I thought
Yeah.
the bylaws subcommittee was gonna discuss the bylaws and make their recommendations to the full board.
I just wonder what would
We
be
could-
a smarter use of our,
Yeah, if they have
Time.
time. I don't know if the bylaws
Yeah.
committee will have time to meet before January.
Why don't we add it to, I don't think the bus discussion, the van discussion is going to be a long one. So could we add the bylaw discussion? I'll get together with Laurel.
Yeah, as long as you guys have
Um,
time by January 17th,
When's our next meeting?
January
January
17th.
17th.
That's what I'm saying, it's
Oh.
kind of tight
It is.
for you guys.
Yeah. Well, does February give us enough time? I just
I don't
wonder,
know.
I don't know the answer to these
Well,
questions.
they need the warrant is published mid-April. I'm sure if we could get Rebecca something by beginning of March.
Yeah. The sooner the better.
Or if the subcommittee doesn't want to meet first, we could just all discuss at the January meeting.
So
I'm just worried about you guys squeezing in another meeting between now and the middle of January. But if you would rather not.
Yeah, we don't
meet-
need to meet face to face. We just, it would give us an opportunity to review the current bylaws and come to that meeting with some recommendations to start with, and then we can adjust it from there.
All right, so we can, yeah.
But maybe we should all do our homework for the January meeting and
Yes.
review the bylaws with any questions or concerns or suggestions we have. Okay,
So we'll move,
would that be
Yeah,
okay?
Does everybody have a copy of the bylaws?
yes, you printed them for us very nicely.
Yes, I know, but can you?
Can we find them?
I would never throw away anything you printed for me, Larry.
I think, and they were emailed out when we did the
It's somewhere in this
Friends
bag.
combination meeting too, the
Okay.
Friends and
Yes.
COA, so I can email them too if
They are,
needed.
they are also available on the town website.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll add that to the January agenda?
Do you
Yes.
still want to talk about the van in January or no?
Do we want to postpone that so we can focus on more time
Yeah, I
on
mean,
bylaws?
it's up to you guys, really. I mean, I don't see, there's no rush. I mean, we could certainly postpone it.
Are there issues, any issues with the van keeping you up at night?
No, I think it was just more
More
clarification of,
Okay.
yeah, how fees
So
are.
why don't we postpone it off? I cannot remember what our focus area was for February. Oh, but Deb has the list.
Let me see.
Maybe.
Is this the one we finally, yes. So February, we had the bylaws review, so why don't we just flip-flop
Let's
January and
flip-flop.
February?
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any other new business? If not, we are done. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We're getting good at this.